Test 1 2 3 4.
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 Good evening and welcome to the Amateur TV Net, which is held every Tuesday night at 8 PM through VK3RTV. I'm Neil, VK3BCU, and I'd like to thank Ian for holding the fort for me for the last few weeks while I was otherwise engaged doing other things. And unfortunately, Ian, your pay grade will drop this week, so you just have to live with that. Okay then, first up this evening we'll have Peter, VK3BFG, followed by Clint, VK3CSJ, and then Clint, if you put it back to me. Now you can watch the repeater through a set-top box, which is a fantastic way to do it. You should try it if you haven't already tried it. Otherwise you can watch it through Ian's YouTube feed, Richard, VK3VRS's Discord feed and his YouTube feed, and also I believe the BATC feed on RTV1 and RTV2 are currently working. Peter might be able to elaborate on that. So I see Peter's splash screen is up, so if you're ready, Peter, take it away. Get ready to switch across to RTV1 for the people watching on set-top boxes, and then Peter, if you could put it across to Clint. So get ready to go across. If I press the right button, and that'll do that for me, I think. No, it's not going to do it. It's not going to transfer, so take it away, Peter, on RTV1.
Right, Janelle, good to see your face on RTV again. I'm Peter, VK3BFG, in not so sunny Wantirna South at the moment. Need to do a little bit of flying for currency, and the weather's not really conducive for that. Well, I've had one of those days today, and I've had 2 computer crashes, would you believe? So we've got some metal there to get rid of. They're old computers. They've been I've had them for a long time, so you know, it's not a real problem, I guess. But just thinking back years ago when I had one computer, and now I've got a computer in every room almost. That's the way of the world these days. Yep, Neil is right. The streamers are back, and also the SRT service, thanks to Phil and his hard work there. There's a temporary fix at the moment. Phil's working on something grander, so I'm not quite sure what that is, but he basically says, well, okay, this will work for the DATV QSO part here, but after that we're going to do a major upgrade. So it will be interesting to see how that works. Out in the garage, I've been working on my 3.5 metre glider, putting an electric motor in it, which is a bit of an adventure. I've done all the programming for the servos. It's quite a complex system. It's got ailerons, flaps, elevator and rudder, but as well as that, it's got a landing mode where the flaps go down a bit and the ailerons come up together, forming basically the same as a spoiler. And that one is a multiple servo job. Each of those services has got an individual servo on them. So there's a number of cables coming in from the wings, and also controls going back down to the rudders and elevators. So and then now controls up to the motor. So it's not a straightforward thing, but it's a hobby that I've been doing for a very long time, actually, back to when I was a young bloke. Of course, we had very basic stuff then. It was still radio control. I actually just got into radio control models because I was always into electronics and building amplifiers and things like that. And I thought, I'm going to try and build a radio control something. And I thought, radio control boat? Nah, maybe. Ooh, radio control plane? Oh yeah, I'll have a go at that. So there it was. And I think I was about 17 at the time. So yeah, we've been at it for a little while. So that's about it for me tonight. I hopefully I'll have something better next week. But if you could see behind the camera, there's cases and stuff everywhere. So the shack's not in the greatest of shape. But I'm sure Clint's got something for us, which is really good. And keep RTV1 running. So Clint, I'm running S at the moment. I think you'll probably come up on T. So there might be a little bit of a disjoint as we go to the switch. So Clint, get ready to transmit. This is VK3 BFG in Wanturna South over to VK3 CSJ.
Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Hurry up, hurry up.
We're on the air. Just thought I'd throw that up first. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back, Neil. Yeah, I think you should protest, Ian. You know, once you receive a pay increase, it generally stays there. You know, it's very rare to get a pay reduction unless you've been a bad boy or something. So I'd be putting in the paperwork. Oh dear. Anyway, you know, Ian's done a marvellous job. He's you know, when he gets set up in that cockpit of his and surrounded by monitors and everything else, it's a mind-blowing studio what you've got there, Ian. So I mean, I've got nothing like that here. I've only got the one monitor that I use for everything. I agree, Pete, too, about the computer in every room. It's once upon a time it was a television in every room. I think that's a bit rarer these days, but oh dear. Anyway, look, I haven't really got a whole lot to show or say, but otherwise, as some may be aware, and Pete didn't make any mention of this, the 1246 input on RTV had been playing up over the last couple of weeks, preventing me from getting in, and so I think there was at least one Sunday where I couldn't put up the WI broadcast, and that's the reason why there was 2 back-to-back episodes last Sunday, covering up for the one I couldn't show. In fact, it turned out interesting because there was some interesting items in the WIA cast from a couple of weeks ago that was I didn't see because I didn't play it, so I didn't even know. So it was actually very worthwhile to show 2 back-to-back episodes, so to speak. Yeah. So anyway, no, Pete found a dodgy cable. I think it was an SMA cable somewhere in the works that was causing the issue, and I think there's been well, it's not a matter of thinking. I'm fairly sure that it's an improvement because this is at the Hides box, the little tiny black box that I'm using that's producing the DVB-T signal, and it's the HV320, I think that's the number. And of course, to get that to work, I've got to power it up. You know, it's I like to come on air tonight. Right now, I had to just turn it up and wait for it to ramp up. The power steps up to about 1 watt, and well, actually not from the unit itself, but after going through the little 2 watt PA that I've got here, it ramps up to about 1 watt, and that previously wasn't enough on DVB-T. That was not enough to get in on 426. The signal was even flaky then, so that forced me to use one of Alan Devlin's amplifiers, what I referred to as the XPD amplifier. I think most folks remember how Alan used to have a whole bunch of those amplifiers that he would sell at the Hamfests, and he'd write on in big black text what they were good for. I think I snaffled a few of those, and that's what I've been using on the DVB-S transmitter, the old standard def transmitter, for such a long time, and it works perfectly well. That little combination, the SR DVB-S with the EMDRC's display board, all composite video stuff, and what I had done to secure the DVB-T signal was to take the lid off the DVB-S transmitter and run the little Hides box straight into Alan Devlin's power amplifier via there was a preamp on that. I can't remember how much. I think it's just a 2 watt driver, and that gives me up to, from the DVB-S SR transmitter, I can get up to about 28 watts output on that. But I had it running, well, with the Hides unit going straight into it, it was 20 watts, just over 20 watts. And even on that, with the 20 watt level going into 1246 input from the Hides unit, that was, from memory, that was about a 90, maybe 95% signal strength, according to the S meter from the repeater. But it was in the green, and that was working fine. So I was running 20 watts until the glitchy thing happened on the repeater over the last couple of weeks, and Pete to replace the cable in question, and I had a quick phone call from Richard. Richard was up at the repeater site with Pete, and I had a quick phone call on Saturday afternoon. Can you put up a test signal? okay. And I ran the signal report, and bingo, I said, wow, look at that, 100%. I have never been 100% signal into the repeater, but there it was. And that was at the full 20 watts from the XPD amplifier, and the quality was in the green, something like 95%. So that was an immediate improvement. And then, of course, it was suggested, can you reduce the power? So I thought, well, the only way I could easily do this was to remove the XPD amplifier altogether and run the little Hydes transmitter straight into the 2-watt PA that I would normally use for the DVB-S2 system, which is still playing up at the moment. And that knocked the power down to just over a watt. So at the moment, if we focus on the Revex power meter, you can see that it's just a watt coming out of the 2-watt PA. So that's securing a good signal into the repeater. The last time I did the signal indicator measurement, which was just the other day, it was a 95%, around 95%. So that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's an improvement. I wouldn't have been able to, on DVB-T input, I would not have been able to have held this picture the way it is at the moment. So I'm fairly pleased with that. So many thanks, Pete. I know it's been, I'm not sure if you'd been up to the repeater site previously, but I know you'd been saying that it's been weeks, quite some weeks since having to go up there, and it's a bit of a miracle. So it was eventually something was bound to happen, but anyway, you fixed it. And thanks, Richard, for assisting Pete as well. It's all good stuff. And you can see on my spectrum analyzer here, that's the haystack coming off air. I know it's a bit hard to see, but I'm only using a little bit of solder wire as an antenna on that. So, and look at that, it's still holding there even without the. That's because I'm averaging. That'll disappear eventually, but it's because I've got it on average. Yeah, it's a nice clean looking output. Actually, I'm quite surprised at how that's still holding there. Anyway. So it's working fine, and thanks, Pete, again. Yeah, the QSO party is a one that you often months in advance talk about, Pete. But so far I've heard virtually nothing from your end about what's happening with the QSO party. I think it wasn't until I saw the post up on Ian's post last week. On Tuesday, that he actually had the date for the QSO party, and that was the first I'd heard about what was happening this year. So it's been very quiet until then. So that last week in August, I think it is, we certainly should be making ourselves available for that, and that's all of us, okay? Everybody that can put a TV picture up, get up and do it, get involved. See, it's disappearing now. Look, it's flatlining. So let me get my antenna, this little bit of solder wire. Oh, I can't, my eyes aren't very good. Is it going to stay in there? Yeah, it's going to stay. All right, I actually do have, well, I used to, a little quarter wave ground plane I made on just an end connector, actual end connector, and I just soldered thick copper wires to make a little ground plane, which normally I would stick in there. But I actually do have a couple of which I would normally put on the back end of my transmitter, and I'd sample about a 20 dB drop from a port and plug it into this thing. The TV system, you don't want to see it. This is just a mess in here at the moment. Really hoping to get this shack finally sorted out. in about 2 years' time. Anyway, no, I'm very pleased. Looking forward to the QSO party, and I know I didn't rock up to the first ATV greet and meet for whatever reason. So if I can make it to the meet and greet coming up very soon, I'll look forward to catching up with folks I haven't seen for a while, or in person anyway. So that'll be hopefully I'll be able to get there. What else? The Dome, any updates on the Dome? Well, not really. I'm still waiting for a metal pier, a 600 millimeter metal pier, which will be bolted to the concrete block in the middle of the dome, which will support the equatorial mount for the telescope control. Once I can get that mount fitted and an adapter plate to mount the actual NEQ6 Pro equatorial mount motor control, then I'll be moving along at great knots. But at the moment, it's a bit difficult to do things manually. It's like Armstrong rotator. You know how difficult that was in the days when you didn't have rotators. So I'm just waiting to get the proper mount, computer-controlled mount system running. But the dome is there and it's assembled and it hasn't blown away in recent winds and it doesn't leak, so I've proved all that. But I'll keep you guys up to date on all that and how we're going on things in that area. Okay, I think that's about it. 20 past the hour, so looking forward to doing the Friday night broadcast here for the ASV, Astronomical Society Victoria. I haven't been able to do that for two Fridays in a row because I just wasn't able to get a signal into the repeater. So we'll be back to full steam on Friday night at 10 o'clock. And of course the WI broadcast on Sunday. And I don't know if there's anybody out there that can tune and listen to 160 metres, but I'm putting the broadcast up. In fact, this Sunday will be an hour-long session because there'll be not only the WI broadcast I'll do on 160 and on the repeater, but that'll be followed by the RAOTC news. You may have noticed, I don't know if you noticed, but they inadvertently announced the RAOTC news bulletin was going to go to air on Monday, but they made a mistake. It technically wasn't the first Monday of the month. Next Monday is the first Monday of the month, so the RAOTC news bulletin will be next Sunday for me. I broadcast it on Sunday, and then of course whoever else does it. So it'll be an hour-long session on Sunday morning. Why? Because I can. All right. On that note, good to see you back, Ian, and you're looking healthy. So we'll swing it back to you. I think that's all I need to say at this stage. So VK3BCU on RTV2, VK3 RTV2, take it away. This has been VK3CSJ, Clint Jeffrey in Narre Warren South. Cheers, everyone. Take care. So we go.
Right, thanks Clint. That was excellent presentation there. Okay, I'd like to acknowledge Bob 3BVR checked in earlier, and also Steve VK3TTF, and there's quite a few on Ian's YouTube feed, so maybe Ian might like to just indicate who's watching, seeing it's his feed, but there's about half a dozen watching, and there's 20 watching, and there's a few on the chat channel as well. So welcome everyone, thanks for watching. Okay, so across to you Ian, VK3QL. I'm on T, you're on S, so it'll be a messy cutover, and then if you could put it across to John, who's also I think on T, so another messy changeover. So across to Ian, across to John, and then back to me. So take it away, Ian. If I get this button right, I'll never get it right.
Good evening and welcome to television.
Thanks, Neil. 137 nets from Mount View, so that's a great achievement, and fortunately for our viewers, Neil's run most of them. So anyway, I'm just filling in, very filling in stage. All right, Clint, great presentation, and thanks for the update on the news, Peter, with regard to the streaming and all of that. So that's all very exciting. And you won't look back once you get your new PCs, Peter. It's no pain, what is it? No gain without pain or something. But it's painful changing PCs, but yeah, it'll be worthwhile. All right, I'm sitting off on the corner of the frame, which is not good, and too far down on the frame, according to some. I'm supposed to have an apple space on my head. All right, the first cab off the rank is the early days of BBC, early 50s, by a person who was there setting up or helping set up as a television engineer a BBC regional station in the back blocks of the UK, and it was for the days of videotape and the luxury of multi-cameras, and most of the programs went to air live, and all the joys, as we all know from ATV experience, the great learnings you can have by going live. All right, here's Roger. His call sign is G3IUZ.
Anyway, I wonder, I haven't been doing any hardware this week, so I wonder whether I could indulge in a little nostalgia. I think I've mentioned before that my background, way back in the mists of time, after I'd done some years in the RAF after leaving school, instructing V-bomber air crew in how to use the new HF gear, which the V-bombers were just coming on stream back in the early 50s. 1950s, that is, not the 1850s, and I then joined the BBC television service as a probationary television engineer, and I came across some slides which I thought might amuse you when you compare it to what we're doing these days. So, if you will indulge me a moment. Here we are. I was after initial and Martin, you may well be a bit tuned into this. After my initial weeks in London at BH and Lime Grove and Shepherd's Bush and so on, I was sent to the Midlands to Birmingham, where they had just fairly recently started a television service. And it was all extremely make do and mend. They'd been given an old derelict mobile controller in it, or scanner, not sure which MCR number it was, and it was housed in this building, which was the old, originally Royal Institute for the Blind in Birmingham, which BBC took over after the war and became the headquarters for the radio, and particularly the Midlands Light Orchestra. And they used the big room that was used for the orchestra. That was taken over by the embryo television service, and they installed these. This is an American RCA. 3 cameras and control units. This is a picture from the RCA catalogue from 1952. I know this is 1852. 1952. You paid £100,000 for that set in today's money. And here it is, de-rigged. This was our control room production suite for the Midlands. Here it is, all in bits, with sundry monitors that have been scrounged on the Dexian rack, with the clock that for timing the programs tied up with string and hand wound, and this was the production desk, and the producer sat in the bus seat. So it was all pretty crude. The cameras, these are the RCA TK10 cameras. That's yours truly. This was our news studio, which was basically a box at one end of the studio, which we lined out with boards from egg cases, you know, the big egg trays, and then for the sake of appearance, put hardboard on top. And we did that for about a year before we moved to Gloucester Green, which was which had then been. This is the new cameras. Everything was brand new there. This is in, I think, 57 or 58. Mark III Marconis, 4.5-inch image orthicons. The old RCA ones were 3-inch. This was the. Every camera had its own control unit with an operator, VCR operator. So there's 4 cameras, 3 in operation, and 1 control engineer in the middle. This was the production suite. That was the vision mixer, how small it is compared to what you have these days. And through the window there is the sound production, the sound mixer. This is the lighting control here by the lighting engineer. This is inside the sound suite with Wally, I think his name was, with the mixer, the jack field, the ferrograph and the turntable for sound effects and so on. Yours truly being trained on the desk. One of the great joys in those days was that as a trainee engineer, you did absolutely everything: cameras, boom mics, vision mixing, maintenance, outside broadcast. This was telecine. In those days, of course, there was no VCRs, and I'll give you something on that sometime. But this was the flying spot scanner, 35mm or 16mm film, and that was the control room. And this is the sort of thing we did. Gardener's World every week with, guess who, Percy Thrower, some of you will remember it, with his box of earth and his glassless greenhouse. We did Keep Fit every Wednesday afternoon with Eileen Fowler. Complicated plays. It was all done live, of course, 3 cameras, all done live, no VCRs in those days, no editing. It was take it or leave it. Percy again on a Christmas occasion, I think. Again, just a few shots taken around that time. Percy again. The camera crew messing about in Percy's suite. And I can claim this as a very early selfie. That's me taking a photograph of the camera taking a photograph of me. So I can claim that as a selfie from the 1950s. And I'm going to leave you, Martin, I think, will know what Wood Norton Hall was. So that's enough of that. Let's go.
Great. So, yes, thanks, Roger, for doing that. That's great down trip memory lane for those who've worked in broadcast and on broadcast equipment, which I did in the early 70s, which I found very annoying. All those valve things was not taken with valve technology at all. Yes, what else was I going to say? That was about it. I think let's have a look at the passes across Melbourne, or from in the area of Melbourne, for the ISS, the repeater in the sky. The packet radio module is not switched on at the moment, and I've heard no more about ham TV, the transmission of video signals from the ISS, so I haven't included that in this package, but certainly the passes, there's 33 passes at a quite reasonable time of the day, and evening, and yeah, a good chance to play around with tracking satellites, one that moves, not one that's stationary. Let's have a look at the International Space Station passes for Melbourne over the next week.
5-9 Andrew. VK3EJ, VK7DWE, also 5-9, got you that time Damien, 73. Cheers, low Yankee, perfect. VK2 Alpha Zulu, VK3MQ. Kilo 2 Sierra, Kilo Yankee, perfect. VK3MQ, VK4 Echo Mike. VK4EM, VK3MQ, good on your move, nice to work you again. Bit, strong signal there.
Great, so lots of passes this week, and there was last, but I didn't get a chance to show that. It was a very busy net. On YouTube, on the Ian VK3 Quebec Lima YouTube, we have Ian VK3QQQ, Stephen George, who I don't have a call sign for you, Stephen. Sorry about that. David, TTF, was it? Right. I thought that was right. David, VK2DJV. Great to see you again, David. Vince, VKYVS, Claudio, sorry, I2NDT, Wayne, VK3GMV in Shepparton. I spoke to Wayne on the telephone a couple of days ago. Great to catch up, and he's doing well. And we have another international viewer come up on the chat from Denmark, I believe. I'm not too good on prefixes, but OZ1IOM. Alan is, yes, that's right, is watching and come up on the chat. So great to have you on board, and I'm sure you will be welcoming Neil back in the net control, wrangling the animals. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. Anyway, wrangling us ATVers to make sense of it all. All right, that's that. That was what I was going to do there. The BATC site has been mentioned. It's both streaming on both RTV1 and VT2 on the BATC streamer, so it's great to see that going again. It's really good news. Right, the next thing, let's go for a quiz. These are on the easier side. yeah, so that's yeah, that was that set of quizzes, and the calendar of events was mentioned. So that's the updated, I think. There's Gippsland Gate Hamfest on next Saturday. Should be, you know, they always put on a good show, so it should be good. It's about 60 kilometres east of Dandenong. Takes just over an hour from the CBD, I believe, and yeah, so that's worth seeing if you can make that on Saturday the 5th of July. It'll be 10 o'clock start, I assume. I'm pretty sure that's right, but check the website for details. There's the 19th of July, John VK3 ATV has organised the ATV meet and greet. This is for anyone interested in ATV. You don't need to be an ATV experimenter to show up. Just show up at the ARV the Amateur Radio Victoria club rooms in Ashburton, and any time between 10 and 2. And I'm sure there'll be a great turn up. The first one we had about 6 months ago was great, and lots of people showed up, and lots of interesting stories. Some were even true, were exchanged. And I believe there'll be some very short presentations, 5-minute type presentations, just to keep the sessions going. Also, there's the, as mentioned by Clint, and is the Saturday the 30th of August, the ATV QSO party. Last weekend of August is its usual slot, and usually rolls from Saturday 10 a.m. to 10 p.m, but we usually have a break depending on how many stations are coming up, and it's a terribly difficult thing to organise with all the different time zones, but there's been shown a lot of interest in Europe and the United Kingdom, as well as our usual great support from North America. So yeah, it's that's the details as I'm aware of.
For live news on the planets, cosmology, sunspots and more, every Friday at 10 p.m. Clint VK3 CSJ presents the Astronomical Society of Victoria broadcast on this amateur television repeater, VK3 RTV Channel 1.
Right, and how about some slightly more difficult questions? A message for Clint too. That's how you keep your shack tidy. you put a green screen in and show a slide. So that's my tidy shack for you, with lots of interesting old radios. So it's good fun. All very good. So I'm glad I've got to this stage without any major technical hiccups, because I'm using a new set of tools to actually prepare the run order, and nothing's broken yet. Might break on the outro, but will I pass it to John, VK3 ATV, Neil?
Yes, please, Ian.
Right. So over to John. There will be a bit of a lag because of the formatting, the protocols that we're using through the repeater. It takes a while to detect the different swaps of protocols. So I'll pass it to John, who will come up next on this channel. And it's been great to be back as a participant, not as a net controller. It's not my favourite job, to be honest. So I can forego the huge amount of money that I get to do that. But no, you can have the job, Neil. It's all yours for as long as you want it. All good. So back to, handing over to John on my outro. I'll drop carrier on the big K.
Good evening, everyone. John VK3 ATV. Don't forget about the Melbourne ATV group get-together. We probably don't need the number of advertisements. Ian's got everyone's promos wrapped up in the one show, so well done to Ian. But yeah, please come along. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Just drop in any time. On Saturday the 19th of July at the ARV office or club rooms at 40G Victoria Boulevard, Ashburton. So bring along your projects. There are a couple of people that have offered to do a bit of a quick presentation. I'm looking for a couple more if possible. I'll be bringing some gear. Yeah, if you don't want to do a presentation, just bring along some gear to show and tell. So there should be some other equipment there, some other people's projects. For those who are not currently on ATV, come along and learn how to talk to the people that are there and learn how to get onto ATV. It's a great mode. anybody who's on ATV or currently not on, come along and discuss your issues, and you might learn how to get that transmitter or that receiver working again. So, I have had on that same vein, I've had quite a lot of help from people with my adventures with Portsdown 4. So, thank you to people like Steve and Andy for giving me some suggestions. It certainly all helps. So, how far have I got from last week? I couldn't get video into the Pluto. Well, I've managed to get Pluto into the video now. So not only can I use the PiCam and the test card, but I can also now use the Logitech C920 webcam. And I have actually been able to use that on 1080p mode, but unfortunately my video and audio is not as stable as it should be. So although it can do it, it's probably tripping over itself a bit to try and do the 1080p. The other way I can get video in now also is with the composite video to USB video capture card. And so I've managed to get that working as well. That will only work on 4:3 picture, so I can't get that to do 720 or 1080. You must remember to have one of these USB audio dongles, otherwise those external video modes won't work. So with the composite video, I've used a professional analog test pattern generator, and I've also managed to use this analog camera, old 8 Super 8 camera, so video 8 camera. So that works. I haven't been able to get HDMI camera to work, but I'd say with the Pluto struggling as it is, there might not be any point. But I'll give it a go. I've ordered some HDMI to composite video converters, so I'll see if I can run a HDMI camera. So that's what I've been doing there. I was going to come up on the Portsdown 4 tonight, but the signal didn't look that stable, so I've gone back onto the high desk transmitter, which is pretty faithful. In terms of my DATV Express transmitter, still playing with the blue chip amplifier. I replaced the chip and still couldn't get it to work, so there might be something else on the board. In the interim, I've used the $50 amplifier off the online shop, and I've managed to get some power out of that, but I couldn't get picture out of the ATV Express. So still working on that to get that DVB-S transmitter back on air. So that's about it from me tonight. I will bring the Portsdown 4 setup along to the meet and greet get together. I know Neil has brought along his. He brought along his last time, and that's one of the things that inspired me to have a go at it. There's not much equipment in there, so fairly easy way to get on air. But I'd be interested if Neil's keen to bring along his other his other modes of getting a transmitter on air, including I can't remember what he was using, an exciter, video exciter, and some other gear to get up to the correct frequencies. So it'll be interesting to see what how you do that, Neil, if you're coming along. So that's it from me. I'll put the meet and greet sign back up again, and then I will drop off back to you, Neil. Actually, I'll put the meet and greet sign on, then I'll put my thanks for watching, and then as soon as I drop off, you should be able to come up on DVB-T. So thanks everyone for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next week on air, or we'll see you at the meet and greet.
Right, thanks for that, John. And I will be bringing along my DVB-T transmitter, which is basically a DVB-T modulator, which is normally designed for video distribution, say around a hotel or something. And I'm just converting up to 1287 using a PLL, which is off the shelf, and also a mixer, which is off the shelf, and a little filter. So I will bring that along. I think I'm one of the only ones actually using that system. I do have a Hides, but that's basically my spare at the moment. So I bring along the DVB-T modulator. So I think Joe might be running a modulator as well. So that's about it for this evening. We've still got about 18 watching on YouTube. Look, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks for supporting the net. We do appreciate the people who do watch. If it wasn't for the people watching and also the people transmitting, hopefully we'll get more of those. We wouldn't have a net. So hopefully we'll get more people up on air next week, and we'll see most of you hopefully that watching this, so that within range, coming along to the Talk Fest that's going to be on the 19th of July, so that'll be great. So thanks for watching once again, and we'll see you all next week. See you all later. Let's see if I can press the right button this time. The end. Maybe. No? Didn't work. Oh, I'll get it right one day. There you go. Okay, cheers.